2 years after alleged mastermind of Abuja-Kaduna train attack arrested. Tinubu administration commits to taking responsibility for current state of affairs. 50 arrested as hoodlums clash in Lagos market raise stalls. On the international scene, death toll in Kenya floods rise to 188 as heavy rains persist. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Sumaya Abubakar. And now the details. The Kaduna State Police Command has arrested one of the attackers of the Kaduna-Abuja passenger train, identified as Ibrahim Abdullahi alias Monday, 2 years after abduction. The Force Public Relations Officer ACP Olumuyiwa Dejobi disclosed this while parading suspects of various crimes at the Kaduna State Police Command. The report.
According to the police, Monday was apprehended by the anti-kidnapping unit of the Kaduna State Criminal Investigation Department on January 12, 2024 in Kaduna State. The police force public relations officer ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, who paraded the suspect alongside over 30 others arrested for various crimes in the state, said Monday confessed to being a leader of a kidnap syndicate terrorizing the Kaduna-Abuja highway.
Based on credible information swept in and arrested one Ibrahim Abdullahi A.K. Monday at Abuja-Kaduna Road flyover by Rido Junction. The suspect confessed to being the leader of a kidnap syndicate terrorizing Kaduna-Abuja highway, ranked among other criminals like Dogo Gide and Bello Toji, the popular Bello Toji. He had participated in various kidnapping incidents, including the kidnapping incident at Greenfield University, and he partook in almost all the kidnappings along the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway. And particularly the attack, the popular attack on the train stations, he was involved in that particular attack on the train.
The suspect Ibrahim Abdullahi, also known as Monday, confessed to journalists that he was into kidnapping activities. All I know is that I was involved in 3 kidnappings and I don't have guns. Yes, we are kidnappers, and I was also involved in the Abuja-Kaduna train attack, where we kidnapped people during the incident. The first PRO also pointed out that the strategic initiatives implemented along the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway have significantly contributed to the successes recorded. He added that the relentless pursuit of criminal elements has resulted in remarkable outcomes, including the arrest of 81 armed robbery suspects, 40 kidnap suspects, 73 murder and homicide suspects, 36 rape suspects, 22 suspects involved in cult-related crimes, and 28 suspects engaged in other criminal activities. He added that under the directive of the Inspector General of Police, a helicopter has been deployed to serve as escort to trains using Kaduna-Abuja route. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The military has announced its preparedness to court-martial 12 officers responsible for the airstrike on Tudimbiri village in Kaduna State, which led to the death of several civilians on December 3, 2023. Although the Nigerian military leadership initially denied the airstrike, they later confirmed that security forces mistook the civilians for militants. While addressing journalists in Abuja on the activities of the armed forces in the fight against insurgency on Thursday, the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, said the drone attack was a mistake which the military was not prepared to condone. General Buba also read the riot act of members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, saying that the sit at home being observed in the southeast was dead and gone. He warned them to desist from issuing empty threats about the planned sit-at-home order slated for the 13th of May in celebration of fallen heroes in the southeast. He described the sit-at-home as an aberration. The troops of the Nigerian Army deployed for counter-terrorism operations in the northwest in conjunction with a team from the Nigerian Police and Katsina State Community Watch Corps have neutralized one terrorist and recovered some arms and equipment at the Musa in the Musa local government area of Katsina State. Authorities say the troops, after engaging the terrorists in a fierce gun battle, successfully seized one AK-47 rifle, 2 rounds of 7.62 mm special ammunition and a motorcycle. The troops also recovered a bag containing 4 empty magazines and a power bank potentially used for the communication and explosive devices. In a separate incident, troops responded to a distress call on kidnapping activities along the Maraban Jama'ah Road in Jos South local government area of Plateau State, rescuing 2 kidnapped victims and recovering a Peugeot 307 vehicle. The 2 kidnapped victims, Abdul Bello, who is the owner of the abandoned vehicle, and Sekian Yapshak, have been promptly evacuated for medical attention. In its statement, the Army noted that these operations underscore the commitment of the force to collaborating with other security agencies to combat kidnapping and violent extremism in the region. Away from security matters, Vice President Kashim Shettima has said the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration will not blame the past administration for the present economic challenges the country is currently facing. Shettima stated this at a round table in Abuja themed Tinubu administration's economic and social agenda, how it will transform Nigeria. Noel Sampson has the details.
At the round table, Vice President Shettima highlighted some of the economic policies of the present administration that are geared towards making Nigeria a better place for all.
So the interventions rolled out by President Bola Tinubu have been categorized into 8 areas. The late Yar'Adua had 7-point agenda. Ours is 8. The 8-point agenda is a good prism through which to view the process of our administration. And we can begin to measure our fidelity to our promises through the policies and programs being executed to guarantee job creation, promote economic growth, ensure food security, eradicate extreme poverty, facilitate access to capital, preserve the rule of law, wage an anti-graft war, and drive inclusive development.
The VP urged Nigerians to be united, stating that the present administration will not blame its predecessors for the present economic challenges, but work towards addressing them.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, though humble it might be, there is no place like home. We have to unite. We have to fuse into one. Politics is over. We are now in the phase of governance. We need to move this nation forward. Not for my own sake, not for the sake of the people on the high table, but for the sake of the black man. They all look up to us.
Stakeholders, however, called for consistency, planning, and proper execution of policies to enable the current administration to succeed.
I was quite happy to hear that this administration had adopted, for example, the 30-year infrastructure master plan, which I led as Minister of National Planning. We are talking about a 30-year plan. Of course, a lot of things have been changed. It needs to be updated and all that. But that level of continuity is needed.
The VP frowned at those who find pleasure in hearing bad news about the country and urged everyone to work together to make Nigeria better. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Workers in Bauchi State have lamented the current situation of the Nigerian economy, saying it was time the government took deliberate steps to address the plight of workers. Speaking to Trust TV at an event to mark this year's Workers' Day celebration, they said the rising cost of living has eroded the purchasing power of the average worker, leaving them in dire need of better welfare. Trust TV's Adamu Imam reports.
Into the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO, there are 20 million out-of-school children in Nigeria, out of which 1.2 million are in Bauchi State. The education system in Bauchi State has been grappling with serious challenges, as highlighted in previous reports that drew attention to issue of teacher ratio, closure of school due to insecurity, as well as the decision of some pupils to resort to other activities due to lack of educational opportunities and poverty. Lanzai Special Primary and 4 Gifted Secondary School in Darazo, in Lanzai and Sade communities are among the centers created to address illiteracy in the state.
This school, since 2022, they provide all the tools and equipment. Even electronic machine, we have computer, generator, printer, all about. This school is provided in the community for orphan, IDP, and almajiris.
We are still on the process of letting them know the value of education, how education can play a significant role in the lives of their children, so that they can sacrifice that time and send their children to school for them to learn.
Some orphans and children of internally displaced persons drawn from Yobe and Borno states have benefited from the gesture.
Good morning, class. How are you?
We are fine, thank you, sir.
Sit down.
Despite the free education policy of the Bauchi state government, some students of 4 Gifted Secondary School in Darazo appeal for government intervention, as water and sanitation as well as sustainability of learning facilities pose serious challenges in those schools.
He's the one that facilitated with the federal government to build this school. As you can see, he provided the student with the uniform and other material needed. Subsequently, of recent, Honorable Masum Anusoro for the NECO examination for 102 students, including 50 in this school and the remaining in the other school. We are having 4 gifted secondary schools across Darazo Gantua.
Main problem that we are passing now in our school is problem of water. Why? Because every morning we have to go out and fetch water in our school.
According to the Bauchi State Annual School Census data for 2019-2020, a total of 1,031,524 children are out of school in the state. Worried by the worsening situation, the Bauchi State government organized an education summit earlier this year to map out strategies to tackle the dwindling level of enrollment in schools. Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Apologies, that was Adamu Imam's report on the efforts to address the menace of out-of-school children in the northeastern part of Nigeria, particularly in Bauchi State, where public-spirited individuals are, of course, complementing the government in the region through initiatives that will boost the school's enrollment. And then one of such initiatives was recently put in place in the Lanzai and Sade community of Darazo Ganjua Federal Constituency to help reduce the rising cases of out-of-school children in that zone. Well, now moving on to more stories. Despite government's effort to end tuberculosis in Nigeria by 2030, persons affected by TB say they are still encountering different challenges that make life almost unbearable for them. To this end, they want the government, organizations, and individuals to come to their aid to enable them overcome such challenges and live a life of dignity that guarantees and safeguards the rights of persons affected by TB. Hamid Oyegbade files in the report.
The Tuberculosis Patients Charter sets out the ways in which patients, the community, healthcare providers, both private and public, as well as government, could partner to improve tuberculosis care and enhance the effectiveness of the healthcare process. In line with this, TB patients and survivors in Nigeria are calling on governments to do more, particularly in the area of funding for TB programming.
So we are actually appealing and calling on the government of Nigeria, both the federal and the state, to step up the game so that people will not be dying of tuberculosis. Because tuberculosis, the treatment of tuberculosis is free, and so therefore people should not die of this disease.
Meanwhile, officials of the National Tuberculosis, Leprosy and Buruli Ulcer Control Program have been trained on the nexus between the law, gender, and rights that relate to TB.
We have a dedicated program, that's the National TB program, that caters to people that have TB. The government is also providing free drugs, free testing services in all public and private facilities in Nigeria.
Part of what is holding down the efforts to end TB by 2030, in my opinion, is the lack of a multi-sectoral approach or inadequate multi-sectoral approach that factors in human rights and gender issues. The community and gender rights approach to TB. And the training that we're doing today, or the meeting you're having today, is to train personnel of the NTB to understand or to enhance their knowledge of the nexus between human rights and TB response and all of that. I would believe that enough knowledge and deepening knowledge of human rights can enhance the ability to respond in the space and within the realm of gender and human rights with regard to TB in Nigeria.
Meanwhile, stakeholders say they will work together to safeguard the rights of TB patients and survivors through preventing discrimination and stigmatization. Amid Oyegbade, reporting for Trust TV.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, has announced that Nigeria's inaugural flight to Saudi Arabia for Hajj 2024 will depart on May 15. NACON's Chief Executive Officer, Ahmed Arabi, disclosed this on Thursday in Abuja. Habibat Ajayi has more.
According to NACON CEO, preparations for the 2024 Hajj are in full swing, with the organization of the first National Stakeholders Summit of Nigeria's Hajj and Umrah industry team, partnership, collaboration, and teamwork, the tripod of success for 2024 Hajj operations. Vice President Kazim Shettima, represented by the Special Advisor to the President on General Duties, Aliyu Umar, during the summit's opening ceremony emphasized NACON's responsibility in ensuring pilgrims' welfare.
Indeed, you recall my directive to the Commission in August last year that it is absolutely essential for the Commission to develop a robust mechanism to give us maximum success in managing Hajj operations from year to year. Also, that the welfare of the pilgrims is at the core of the pilgrimage, and as such, the Commission must give it the priority it deserves.
NACON's Chief Executive Officer, Ahmed Arabi, acknowledged the challenges faced by the Commission and emphasized the collective responsibility of stakeholders for a successful 2024 Hajj.
Alhamdulillah, I can proudly say that a total number of close to 65,500 pilgrims of the State Pilgrims Welfare Board, agencies and commissions, and the tour operators will be participating in this year's Hajj. The visa processing has reached advanced stage, and approved carriers are fully ready to airlift all the pilgrims from over 10 departure centers.
On his part, the rector of the Hajj Institute of Nigeria, Muhammad Nasiruddin Minturari, emphasized the importance of collaboration for a memorable Hajj experience.
Therefore, as we stand on the threshold of the 2024 Hajj season, it is imperative that we as collective body serving the Muslim Ummah in Nigeria come together in a spirit of unity and cooperation, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us in Surah Al-Ma'idah, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. We should cooperate in righteousness and piety, and that we should not cooperate in sins and wrongdoing.
The representative of Sultan of Sokoto and JAMB Registrar, Isiaq Oloyede, urged NACOM officials and urge operators to discharge their duties conscientiously.
In Allah, I have not created somebody I cannot punish. That is the summary of it. If you think you can do anything and go scot-free, not during Hajj, please, if you will go on Hajj, pray that if you will not have any reward on your return, may God not make you come back with liability or debit rather than having credit.
Meanwhile, NACON has announced that all Nigerian pilgrims will spend at least 4 days in Medina before commencing the Hajj rites proper. Habibat Hajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching Trust News Hour. Coming up, tragedy in Abuja as 5 die from horrific car fire incident. This and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is Trust News Hour. Here's a recap of our top stories. We're about you 2 years after alleged mastermind of Abuja-Kaduna train attack arrested. Tinubu administration commits to taking responsibility for current state of affairs. Moving on to more stories, police authorities in the Federal Capital Territory have arrested 2 suspected traffickers with 5 children. The suspects were attempting to evade arrest by police operatives in Sokoto, according to the FCT Police Command spokesperson Josephine Ade. According to her, the suspects have now been handed over to the Sokoto Police Command for further investigations in the spirit of oneness. The events of Friday, April 26, involving a Toyota Sharon bus have come to light with distressing revelations. Loaded with 9 passengers en route to Gwagwalada, the journey took a tragic turn when the vehicle carrying jerrycans of petrol erupted in a devastating explosion. This led to 5 fatalities and left 4 others with severe burns. Now, viewer discretion is advised, as some may find the images in this report disturbing. Amina Ibrahim reports.
Benjamin Edie, a survivor and a tailor at the Garkis ultra-modern markets, can recount the horrifying experience in vivid details, underscoring the urgent need for stringent road safety measures.
The first one was Sapuga. I tell us, why they drive like this now? We don't talk anything. All of us inside car, they shout, yeah, we take them easy now. Now smooth. Nobody say they go far. And the man, as they talk like this, I close my head down to press my phone. Before I know, I hear the go hit the gutter. After I hit the gutter, when you stop, now the car catch fire.
The tragic loss of Murjanat Zubairu, a 400-level student at the University of Abuja, and Dandy Michael, a dedicated staff member of the National Biotechnology Development Agency, deeply grieves their families and loved ones. Their relatives are undoubtedly grappling with the profound sorrow and devastation caused by these tragic accidents.
Enter night mode, reach here yesterday. Okay. When I reach, I called the lady. The man come to my brother house with me that I should just follow them to University of University of Teaching Hospital. When I get there, I see they show me dead body, maybe they are rules that the way I just see the dead body, only a finger that I used to see him with the long nail. I checked because he was already born. All the face you can't recognize the face.
What happened to Nigeria is that what is going on like this? The federal government can do something tangible or sum of money to the hospital account in case of this emergency like this. So some like this, if you don't have anybody, that's it. That's all about you. So I'm playing to federal government. They should help and do something about that. If something happen like this in an accident, we believe nobody pray to have an accident. So federal government will do something so that if they bring anybody emergency like that, they will start the treatment before the family members will come.
The whereabouts of both the driver and the vehicle remain unknown as confirmed by the Edo Division of the Nigerian Police. Despite attempts to obtain further information from FCT Police Command PRO DSP Josephine Adi, no comments could be secured regarding the incidents. Amina Ibrahim, Trust TV, Abuja.
The Lagos State Ministry of Environment and Water Resources says the government has discovered 86 apartments under the Dolphin Estate Bridge, Ikoyi, where tenants pay 250,000 naira annual rent. Posting videos on his X account, the Commissioner Chakumbo Wahab said the 86 petitioned rooms, size 10 by 10 and 12 by 10. He added that the enforcement team of the ministry had successfully removed all structures, including a container utilized for various illegal activities, from beneath the Dolphin Estate Bridge. A special advisor to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Kunle Rotimi further confirmed the eviction of the illegal settlers from beneath the bridge towards Dolphin Estate in Ikoyi. Rotimi Akodu said 23 individuals were arrested during the eviction, which was carried out by officials of the Lagos State Environmental Sanitation Corps, popularly known as KAI, on Tuesday.
I'm not showing you my ID card.
You are living here, Abi? Are you living here?
Yes.
What are you doing here?
I stay here. This only weekend I go. Now don't hear the sound.
So is it the place you are supposed to rent?
This is where I hide myself. I did not even rent house.
You know rent
this
house?
container that is here.
It's embarrassment.
It's not an embarrassment. I have my house that I built myself.
Why can't
I
you go
stay
there?
in Mobi, but I can't go.
Operatives of the Lagos State Police Command on Thursday arrested over 50 suspects in connection to a clash between hoodlums at the popular Ilekpo foodstuff market in the Alemosho local government area of the state. The fight started on Wednesday night and continued till Thursday morning as the warring thugs settled scores over an undisclosed matter. The hoodlums in the process set some stalls crammed with goods on fire. The first responders, like policemen and fire service operatives, were later deployed to the scene to arrest the inferno and restore calm. In a statement, police spokesperson in the state, Benjamin Hundeyin, said normalcy has been restored to the market. As part of efforts to improve synergy between the Nigerian Army and the state government, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, visited Adamawa State to discuss the areas of collaboration and cooperation. Receiving the Army boss, Governor Ahmadu Fintiri restated the commitment of his administration to improving security across the state and the Northwest region.
The security situation around Gombe, Garkida, and the northern Adamawa flank. And also, we are thinking on the need to put an eye on the situation in Noma. We will take all this into account in reviewing our operational strategy in Adamawa State.
We have challenges in Gombe, Garkida axis. We have challenges in the Bay areas of the northern zone. And equally, we have more challenges in the Noma Federation. This has to do with the farmer harvest. And I believe establishing another command there to assist in reaching out to some of these troubled places will help in bringing stability generally in the state and in the country.
The Nigeria Customs Service, with the Nigerian Energy Support Program, has introduced the Advanced Ruling Scheme to boost the trade and transparency in the service sector. According to the Customs Controller General Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, this scheme enables traders to get official decisions on goods classification, origin and value prior to importation, reducing cost and improving the business climate in Nigeria.
To introduce these mechanisms were unsuccessful in the past, despite its recognized importance. However, in 2020, we initiated a scoping mission to review our processes and align them with global best practices. This comprehensive review yielded valuable recommendations that have informed our efforts to relaunch the advanced ruling.
Groups have called on state governments to create anti-corruption agencies at the local level to monitor state and local government officials amidst the growing concerns over attacks against such agencies. Sagar Ibrahim tells us more.
The cohort, which includes notable transparency and accountability-focused civil society groups, are deeply concerned about the spate of malicious attacks targeted at anti-graft institutions for enforcing the rule of law. They say the attacks, which are often through sponsorships, insensitive opinion publications on national dailies, among many others, are all antiques used to shield politicians guilty of corruption.
We cannot continue to allow our country to be hijacked by these corrupt individuals who did not constitute any significant number, but keeping Nigerians, in their vast majority in perpetual poverty, insecurity, and inequality.
Rafsanjani says they are also concerned about the level of democratic looting going on at the state level, mentioning states like Kano to buttress his point.
Investigating is the former governor and his officials, and millions, billions have been recovered so far by the commission. And now with this connection at the federal level, they are actually watering down this effort. And it is at a time when we are encouraging more states to set up anti-corruption institutions, because the looting at the state is so enormous that we need similar institutions like EFCC, ICPC at the state level to minimize the kind of democratic looting that is going on at the state and local government in Nigeria.
They also proffered some recommendations which they feel would strengthen transparency and accountability mechanisms in government institutions.
We urge the ruling All Progressives Congress Party and other political parties to take decisive action in purging its ranks by denouncing and breaking support with their members who are currently being investigated by anti-corruption agencies. Growing concerns over the declining levels of autonomy and integrity of the judiciary must be addressed. The National Judicial Council must diligently monitor its members and promptly remove any corrupt judicial officer found to be compromising the judicial system. To truly establish a flourishing democracy, transparency and accountability must be strictly adhered to in governance. This requires holding politicians accountable for their actions and inaction.
What we do when we attack these institutions, especially when they act to advance public interest, we're undermining democracy and the rule of law. And that should not be tolerated.
Corruption has reached in our country where it's making it virtually impossible for government to do its work.
Former governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, and his counterpart in Kano, Abdullahi Ganduje, are ranking APC members in the eye of the storm for corruption allegations. The experts also made a passionate appeal to the youth in the country to denounce corruption by shunning criminal activities. This, they say, will help repair the dent on Nigeria's image on the global stage. Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
As the debate over a new minimum wage for Nigerian workers intensifies, the slow pace of negotiations by the tripartite committee has left stakeholders across the country frustrated and uncertain. According to the Director General of the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, Adewale Oyerinde, discussions are ongoing, but the focus goes beyond just raising the minimum wage. He emphasized that structural issues like inflation and other variables are critical factors that need to be addressed. Our report explores the complexities of this issue and the implications for the Nigerian workers and the economy as a whole. Take a look.
On Trust TV's Daybreak show, Adewale delved into the ongoing minimum wage negotiations, shedding light on Labour's call for 615,000 naira minimum wage. He stressed the significance of both workers and the government contributing their proposals to the discussion. Adewale also voiced disappointment regarding the postponed committee meeting, which has resulted in delays in addressing these critical matters.
The big issue that you have mentioned, which is quite fundamental, I agree with you, is the bigger issue of the economy. That is within the purview of the government, and we have also made a recommendation as to say, look, if we have a minimum wage of 1 billion naira, if inflation is still high, if the cost of production is still going up, it will neutralize whatever gain or whatever figure we have as minimum wage.
The NECA DG emphasized the potential for a swift resolution, suggesting that with sincerity and seriousness, the matter could be settled within a week. He stressed the importance of thorough discussions and careful considerations of all perspectives and proposals in achieving this goal.
If we all come to the table considering each other's perspectives, labor considering employers' perspective, employers considering labor's perspective, government considering the cries and issues that face employers. If we come to the table in good faith, I can tell you, in 1 week, we can wrap up the work.
The Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have consistently urged Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration to expedite the upward adjustment of wage awards. Recently, organized labour has called for a new minimum wage of 615,000 naira to address the numerous economic challenges and high cost of living in Nigeria. Labour unions argue that the current minimum wage of 30,000 naira is insufficient to sustain the well-being of the average Nigerian worker. They lament that not all governors are adhering to the current wage award, which expired in April, 5 years after the Minimum Wage Act of 2019 was signed by the former President Muhammadu Buhari. This act mandates a review every 5 years to align with the evolving economic needs of workers.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. The news continues after the break. Welcome back to Trust News Hour. The Minister of Steel Development, Shaibu Audu, says the minimum required funds for the revitalization of Ajaokuta Steel Company is about $2 billion. Audu stated this on Thursday during an interactive session with the House of Representatives Committee on Steel Development. The report.
According to the minister, the amount could rise to well over $5 billion, which will cover not just the plant and equipment, but infrastructure. He noted that the federal government may not be able to fund a Ajaokuta Steel project through budgetary provision, but through private capital investment, which will ensure that about 5,000 Nigerians will benefit from the revitalization of the project. Chairman of the committee, Zainab Gimba, while commending the efforts made so far by the ministry, calls for assessment of the previous audit technical report before embarking on a $2 billion loan to revive the steel company.
The strategy that we've deployed is to raise private money because I remember that we had tried to raise money, through the budgeting process, but that was proving a little bit difficult because of paucity of funds and competing needs for resources of the federal government. So we thought that, while we're still working on that, because no option is off the table.
Ajakuta Steel Company cannot be run by the budget. So that means we have to look for external sources. And these external sources, as you vividly mentioned, we are looking at the external infrastructures, we are looking at the raw materials, we are looking at the rehabilitation of the plant itself, and we are looking at human capacity building. So, and then the issue of this 2 billion naira loan, $2 billion loan. Don't you think the federal government is in a haste to do that?
Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Environment, Isiaq Salako, says the federal government is on course to end open defecation by year 2025. Salako said this at a public hearing by the House of Representatives Committee on Environment on the need to end open defecation in Nigeria and increase the number of toilets annually. This, according to him, will ensure sustainable sanitation and implementation of technology-driven initiatives in Nigeria. Other stakeholders also reaffirmed commitment to ending open defecation.
One key project that the ministry is going to implement this year is to also institute a mechanism for what we call reportable environmental incidents using digital platforms. We're going to bring forth a mobile application that our environmental health officers can actually use to report environmental incidents that can scale up to their local government, to their states, and to the federal level.
We thereby call on the government and its agencies at all levels, especially those whose statutory duties borders on conservation of our environment, provision of succor to victims of disaster, environmental remediation, and infrastructure providers to intervene and take deliberate action to mitigate the living conditions of our constituents.
There is no doubt that flooding and erosion can lead to soil degradation, loss of biodiversity, and pollution of water bodies, threatening ecosystems and exacerbating climate change-related vulnerabilities. Addressing these environmental concerns is essential not only to the immediate well-being of communities, but also for the long-term sustainability of our natural resources.
According to findings from the 2021 WASH Norm report, approximately 48 million Nigerians still engage in open defecation, with only 8% of the population practicing clean hand washing. Let's join Yusuf Akogo for Business News Update.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogo. The Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation has increased the maximum deposit insurance coverage levels for a deposit money bank from 500,000 naira to 5 million naira for deposit money bank with immediate effect. The managing director of NDIC, Bello Hassan, made a disclosure on Thursday in Abuja. According to him, for deposit money banks, the increase of the maximum deposit insurance coverage from 500,000 naira to 5 million naira will provide full coverage of 98% of the total depositors, compared with the current cover of 89.20%. In addition, Microfinance Bank maximum deposit insurance coverage was increased from 200,000 naira to 2 million naira. The reverse coverage will increase the value of deposits covered by deposit insurance to cover 25.37% compared with the current cover of 6.31% of the total value of deposits. Commercial banks in Nigeria have closed over 2 million bank accounts in the first quarter of 2024 to clean their books of questionable accounts and comply with regulatory orders of linkage of bank account to NIN. This is contained in the report by the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, NIBBS. According to the report, the number of inactive bank accounts grew month on month by 4 million to 19.7 million in March 2024 from 19.3 million in the previous month. NBBIS data further showed that 61.6 million Nigerians have BVN as of April 2024. A bank account is classified inactive when the recorded zero transaction, including deposit, withdrawals and transfer, or point of sales transaction for 6 months. The Center for the Promotion of Public Enterprise, CPP, has asked the Central Bank of Nigeria to adopt a specific quarterly exchange rate for import duty collection. According to the CPP, the measure will address the problems associated with frequent changes in custom exchange rates and general volatility of the foreign exchange market. In a statement signed by its Chief Executive Officer, Muda Yusuf, the center stated that constant changing of FX rates is inimical to production, planning, and worsening the inflation rate and increasing investment risk. The statement further said that the exchange rate was changed 28 times in Q1 and 10 times in April alone. The move, it said, compounds international trade uncertainty for Nigerian businesses, which does not augur well for the growth targets of the country. Investors in the stock market segment of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, NGX, lost about 3.6 trillion naira in April as the Central Bank of Nigeria lured them with attractive yields on its Nigerian Treasury bills. Let's see how the equity side of the market went down today. Top gaining equities for today, we see the like of Presco closing positive there, 10% it ended to close at 229 naira and 90 kobo per share. Flour Mill PLC also up there, 10% to close at 33 naira and 55 kobo per share. Of course, Sterling Bank also closed positive there, 4 naira and 74 kobo. The share price ended, and of course, it gained 9.98% at the close of business this Thursday. Of course, this has pushed up the market upward by 0.55%. If you look at the volume of trade for today, a little bit higher, 665.198 million volume of shares traded, and of course, in terms of value, 5.541 billion naira reduced there, 8,446 did exchange hands among investors at the close of business today. Of course, the all share index still way behind 100,000 basis points at the close of business today. Of course, looking at some of the top trading equities, we have Abe, a microfinance bank, leading the table there, 362.820 million shares traded. Of course, followed by Access Corporation, 54.466 million shares. Of course, Veritas Capital, an insurance company, doing 38.748 million shares. Some equities did recorded losses today. Of course, leading that table is NASCON, down 9.99% to close at 47 naira and 30 kobo per share. UPL down 9.29%, 2 naira and 5 kobo per share. It ended. Omatech also down 9.21% to close at 69 kobo per share there. That's the highlight of the stock trading as it went down this Thursday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market for today. Now to the FS market. Naira recorded gain at official market but marginal declines at the parallel market on Thursday. Here are today's market data. Prices rose on Thursday, rebounding from 3 days of losses that took prices to their lowest since mid-March. At the London market, European Brent sells for $83 per barrel. For the OPEC basket, price steadies at $88 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
Thank you, Yusuf Akogo, for the business update. Now, away from Nigeria, the number of people who have lost their lives to floods in Kenya has risen to 108. 88, the Interior Ministry said on Thursday as the country continues to battle heavy rains. The ministry added that 125 people had been reportedly injured and 90 people were currently missing, while 165,000 have been displaced. In the deadliest single incident, dozens of villagers were killed when a dam burst near Maimahio in the Rift Valley, about 60 kilometers north of the capital, Nairobi. The Interior Ministry said 52 bodies had been recovered, while 51 people were still missing after the dam disaster. Also on Wednesday, nearly 100 tourists were among people marooned after a river overflowed in Kenya's famed Masai Mara Wildlife Reserve following a heavy downpour. Let's join Adeni Ajishafe for Sports News Update.
Nigerian boxers took the opportunity to push for greatness in the Nigeria All-Star Rumble Season 4 boxing tournament at the Indoor Sports Hall of National Stadium, Surulere, Lagos. The boxing platform created to enable Nigerian boxers attain greater heights globally is organizing a quarterly boxing championship that is fast gaining momentum across Nigeria, where various pugilists are always looking forward to. In the bout, Buhari Habib defeated Afikun Shegun, while Arinze Franklin won over Idowu Kusote in their categories, as Isaac Shukudi battled Abidemi Rafiu in the welterweight division. Sarumi Rilwan emerged winner in the lightweight category. The boxers spoke on their performances.
So I'm so glad, I'm so grateful, because it's not easy to climb rank, to fight, and to become a success. It's not really easy. To be a champion, to be a winner is not easy. Since when I got a fight. Since that time I've been in the camp to train dedication, so I can win the fight.
I've done the amateur boxing for close to 13 years, and I feel this is the right time for me to kick off my boxing career, and what place should be the best place to do it if not in Nigeria here?
Boxing promoters Kudus Additional Wasiolabi said Nigeria All-Star Rumble Championship is an open ground for boxers to become world stars by developing themselves.
Promoting this boxing show just to make the young ones in rural areas to be able to know that there are more ways for them to go higher.
Well, these are the things we have been doing for many years. That our boxers will be busy week in, week out, and it will be happening.
President, Nigerian Boxing Board of Control Rafiu Ladipo and Secretary Remi Aboderi appreciated Nigeria All-Star Rumble platform for raising the bar in giving Nigerian boxers an avenue to showcase their boxing talents.
What we've been looking for, young Nigerians who can give their best anytime. You would agree with me that all the fights done tonight have been good fights. The last one was an explosive one.
We are improving day by day, and we believe that we will do better. We are of the opinion that we need the government interest in this sport. Government interest in the sense that they should create the enabling environment for our youth to be engaged through their God-given talent.
The all-action boxing event, boxers show off their boxing skills, will continue the next quarter when champions will emerge. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we wrap up News Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentaries. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Good night.